All right, call to order. I want to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I know Brian McGrath and Matt Welding are not here today, so these are kind of the four of us. Want to approve the minutes, so if I can get a...
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion.
I'll do a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Excuse me, I have a little cold here. I don't want to sniff into the microphone. Okay, so we don't really have a subcommittee report other than just to report that will flow into kind of the number 5 already, which is the administrative code creation process. So just to give, I guess, a quick recap, and Kylie, correct me on any of this. I did have a meeting yesterday with all 3 supervisors, and I think that kind of stems hopefully from, some of the discussions that I think John and I had at the supervisor meeting of hopefully getting on the same page. And again, I know in that meeting I talked about, or when I spoke, if you don't like the process that we're doing, give us a process. So maybe that was right, maybe that was wrong, but I did have a meeting with them, and that's going to kind of go into what we want to discuss today. At that meeting yesterday, it was kind of presented to me what they're calling a transition of government checklist with kind of Mill Creek Township duties and then transition advisory committee duties. Again, just to remind everyone, and we are just an advisory committee to the supervisors. So while we can kind of have our opinions on these things, we can only do so much when it comes to if things are kind of being laid down. So how this was presented to us, or presented to me yesterday, which again, I think I'd like to have a discussion on here, is that the township would like to create the first draft outline, I think that's what that was called, of the administrative code, created by township department heads and township employees. I have voiced my opinion on that and sent to the supervisors at the meeting and then in an email afterwards that I don't think that is the right way to go, that I think there is a little bit of a conflict. That's just my opinion. We can have a discussion on that.
We can talk about it all. You can go through
I just want to go through it and then have a full discussion, so everything that I got at the meeting.
Okay.
Now, they did say that we would get a copy of the administrative code by September. So our committee then would take that administrative code. We would be able to mark it up, have our opinion, have a discussion on how that gets public as well. And then, again, and I agree with you here, John, I don't see it on this, but we would then push for that RFP process or a consultant or some type of law firm then looking at that at the end. I have just made, and I'm going to shut up after this, I have made it just vitally, my red line in the sand is December 31st. I know most of the committee agrees with that. That's when the administrative code must be done, in my opinion, and I think most of our opinions. Now, why I don't think that this is the best way to go about this, certainly isn't the way that we had presented. I will also say that as of right now, I don't see that this affecting that date. So if this comes to September, October, where we're not seeing that progress, I think you're going to get a different Tom. But I will say, in their defense, I still see this, again, being able to be done by December 31st. It's just kind of not the process that we have. Having said that, I would like to open it up. That's kind of the conversation that I had, and then kind of go through kind of what you guys feel with what we were presented.
I think, first of all, at the last meeting of our meeting, we submitted an RFP to the supervisors for approval and sending out, as we have discussed in our previous 3 meetings or whatever. And at that time, we were told that they were going to go to the DCED for comments, and that was the reason it wasn't on the agenda of the previous supervisors meeting. I'd like to know what happened to that. Did they ever contact DCED? What happened to that fork in the road?
I believe that was people being contacted individually, so I'm not sure the status on what they talked about.
Well, okay, so is that a dead issue now with this is what being presented this evening?
I believe the discussion of the RFP is going to be on the next supervisor meeting.
It is?
Okay, so that could,
Okay.
we're saying that could still happen, or it doesn't seem like that's going to
The
happen?
discussion about it.
So it's going to be on the agenda.
My understanding, yes.
Well, you can make it.
Didn't you at the
I don't
supervisors
create the
meeting
agenda.
present to them something the last meeting?
The chair does.
Or you asked?
So we, again, yes, so to recap real quick, we did ask for that, our RFP that we passed 6-1 out of committee to be placed onto the agenda. After our Thursday meeting, again, to rehash this, that was the 4th, was that Friday. I sent it to the supervisors on that Monday. And again, there was, that turnaround, which I was told that's why they needed a little bit more time. They wanted to talk to DCED. So I am under the impression that that's going to get discussed, but to be honest, it seems to me like this is the route that they want to go, and that our RFP doesn't seem like it's going to happen until maybe the end.
Okay, so they've formed, so all that's off the table now, right? As far as the supervisors, the RFP as presented, as they said they were going to contact DCED, you're saying you're not aware, or I don't know what you meant, honestly.
I mean, the agenda for our meetings is a working document up until we have to post it 24 hours ahead of time, so things are still being added.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, was there contact made with DCED to satisfy the questions that they had?
Not by me.
Do you know if anybody did?
I know someone reached out to them. I don't know the content of that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little frustrating. I will say again, we thought we had kind of at least a process of how we were going to do things. I don't want to say in their defense, but kind of in their defense, at least there is something here. I mean, again, I have issues with having, and I have made that kind of known, having, department heads and Mill Creek employees creating the administrative code for the new government. That doesn't make sense to me. That seems like a conflict, and to be honest, I don't know the expertise that anyone would have to do that. I will say, though, again, we do have a chance to see it. I'm not saying this is the most ideal situation. We do have a chance to kind of go over it, to look at it. But again, we wanted to do the RFP because that's where the expertise was coming into.
Well, honestly, I know I don't have the expertise to look at administrative documents and say, that's the proper legal way to do it. I've not done it. I don't know.
So like we said before, in the optional plan, it talks about the majority of what needs to be done. Like if you look at the other examples, a lot of them mirror each other because they are taking from the optional plans law. Obviously not all of it because it's a very long document, but the parts that have to be in there, and it's the smaller parts in there that, like that you kind of tweak to your township. And so my understanding is that we want to keep the majority of it kind of the way it's done now, so it flows through while the transition happens. And then if the manager comes and says, this is a terrible system, they can fix it.
I think that'd be a great question for DCED if anybody's going to call them. When was the last time that the employees actually made the administrative code?
My question last meeting, when we met with the people over the internet and spoke with them, didn't they pretty much say that a lot of the stuff we're almost a unicorn? Isn't that what they said a couple times? And that most of the stuff was supposed to be pretty much, take it off the shelf, plug and play, and just adapt a little bit of wordage, and then have the solicitor make sure it's legally correct? I mean, isn't that kind of what they were kind of saying?
Yes. Having said that, I have 5 administrative codes. I mean, Kylie, you've seen the same 5, right? From Bristol, from College Township, from, and I'm gonna screw up the name, Saucon, S-A-U-C-O-N, Washington Township, and there's another one that I'm missing. We can say that, yes, that administrative code is plug and play, but everybody was massively different. Now, they were different, some of them had more on the department heads, but to just say that again, it's fully plug and play when I'm looking at 5 different administrative codes that really are a lot different in what they did and what the nuance of it. Again, that's why we wanted to do this at the beginning and just try to get it done right. I still don't see why it would be great for us to just kind of copy and paste, right? Copy and paste what other municipalities did into our administrative code. So again, having said all that, I'm not a huge fan of this at all. Like, I think the way that we had it, I think is the preferred way. Obviously, we voted it 6-1 out of committee. I will say, though, if this is the way that we must go, this is a workable format, although I don't think it's ideal. And I still think that the drop dead date of December 31st can still happen. So again, we have to work with kind of what we're being given, but
As long as they're making progress on it, I mean, I could see what you're saying, is if nothing happens in December, then there's gonna be problems.
yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I should have given it
I'm
to you.
sorry. I mean, I can see what you're saying, if nothing happens in December, then we're gonna have
Well, I
problems.
would say September.
Well, September for the, I'm sorry, didn't it say December?
To September through December to get it done
Okay.
December 31st.
So in September, you're hoping to see some documentation of where there's some,
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I did ask to John in committee, and I think we had a discussion on having, as this thing is happening, to present to us, at least that there's a, I'm just, we were trying to think through anything that we could to make sure that this is going the right way for the structure that kind of this is under. And again, not ideal, but I don't think it's unworkable at this juncture.
Well, I mean, we were appointed as, for the Transition Advisory Committee, right? And we've done that. We've advised that this is the right way to do it. Okay,
Well,
and that's our job.
I would
We
say it's
advise.
a way.
Anyway, but it was agreeable 6-1 that we presented.
One begrudgingly.
Whatever, I don't know. But in any event, and if they choose not to do it that way, you're exactly right. We don't have the power to do anything else. If they want it to work this way, then this is the way it has to work.
Right.
We don't have anything. But I think we can advise, that's our job, and I think we have done that, and I think we need to continue to do that.
No, I 100% agree. And again, I think the end will be there. I still believe that. It's just the means of how we get there now is going to be different. Again, not ideal for how we initially had this set up. As an advisory committee, though, I think we can still advise and still push that forward the best of our ability to make sure that those things get done. The other discussion, and I don't want to get off this because I think this is so vitally important, but the other discussion we did have, and I think Kylie had a good point, to create us as almost like a, I don't want to say another, I don't want to freak people out, not a department, but to have us present a budget as well for 2027 for some of the other things that we need done, from the amending of the ordinances to the search committee. There's some certain things, again, I think it's almost not too early to get that done, but we can get quotes, we can do some things on that. I think we become absolute experts on the administrative code as much as we possibly can, looking at some, to be able to give our opinion, but that's kind of where we're at right now.
So when you say budget for, like, you're talking about like the required advertising, looking into what it's going to cost, because a lot of this, when you change codes, has to be published in the
Yeah.
public domain,
Well, and
and
I'm
there
think-
is going to be a cost.
I'm thinking, like even more than that, like, so like when we say we want a search firm to look for the manager, is that $20,000? Is that $40,000? Like how much, like do we want to set a limit on what you spend, or like make sure a certain amount is budgeted? And then like if we're going to give like pamphlets out when people are voting to help them understand this new system, like should we put that in the budget? Do we need $5,000 to get pamphlets printed? Do we want a mailer? The free option would be just put it in our magazine, and just, those kinds of things just to think about for next year.
Because you have to, people forget, government has to plan ahead. quite a bit.
Everybody
No, I'm
does.
sorry, but you forget, a lot of people don't realize that you have to plan 6, 8 months, sometimes a year ahead, or buy things years in advance.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just, at least
You
the
know,
money needs to be
some
set aside
people-
for it.
Unfortunately, some people's budget is, oh my gosh, my car broke, now I need a new one. The township has to be thinking, oh my gosh, my police car broke, I better have some more.
So, Kylie, I will say this from the supervisor standpoint, and John kind of brought this up earlier, even on this that we were kind of presented, there is nothing at the end that says that this does get sent out. And again, I know that can't be absolutely that's what's going to happen, but there needs to be, I think, something on there as well to say that, again, I just don't want that kind of swept under, have an administrative code that's created by this is nothing negative about the employees. We're not qualified to do that, right? I mean, we can do as much as we can. I don't think that they are either. And then to have that be sent out at the end, again, we just had it being sent out at the beginning.
That's just delaying things. If it's the right thing to do, and we all believe, mostly all believe, it is the right thing, to get that out there. It's not a contract. It's not, unless it's signed by both parties, there's nothing there to do. But we'll have a price, and we'll have the lowest base cost. We're going to send it out to professional consultants within the Pennsylvania, within there, and we're going to send out to some legal firms. So that price will be, rock bottom, qualified, experienced, and it'll get done the right time, at the right time, for the right price. There's no negative things about it, just to send it out. Talk about it when it gets back, that's fine.
But one negative thing to send it out is you typically don't want to send out an RFP if you don't have the intention of choosing someone, if you're just trying to get information. So it depends on, and I know that's a different conversation of whether there's an intention of choosing someone or not, but that's the way I'm viewing it. If we're going, okay, we requested everyone to put together these budgets, and then we go, meh.
Kylie, that's happened a ton of times though. Like we have done that in our work too. We've sent out an RFP, everything came back terrible. We didn't want to do it, so maybe we resend an RFP out with different criteria. So again, we put that in there as well, right? That this is at the mercy basically of the supervisors. So this might not go. But again, that was the whole process was to get the best numbers that we possibly could.
With qualified people to do the work.
Right, 3 municipal law firms and 3 consulting groups throughout Pennsylvania.
Not to be returned and reviewed.
Yeah, I think that this just does delay the inevitable, but
I think there's good intentions on both sides. I think there's good intentions on both sides, you're just not meeting of the minds, I think. I'm like, the township paves roads every year, but to say who each year it changes, but they kind of have a basic idea. But you can't just send out to the people paving, well, we just want some roads paved. It's too broad, too general, and I think maybe letting them do a little bit more detailed and then send out an RFP. I do see that there isn't one here, but maybe you need a little more deep, not so broad before.
yeah, it's. I just keep
I
hearing, but I keep hearing it's already done for us. And kind of, I'm not to call you out here, but this is what we keep hearing, right? Is, hey, it's already done, right? The administrative code is already done. It's already kind of laid out.
And you want to make sure that everything's right.
So we hear that, but then when we say, hey, we want to send that out for the RP, the comment is, well, they're going to create it all from scratch. And it's like we can't have this both ways.
Right.
Again, I'm a little frustrated with it, but having said that, I still think that there's something that we can work with here if this is kind of the way that they want to go.
I see where you're coming from, is what I'm saying. I think unfortunately, we kind of have to work with what they want to do.
No, 100%.
And I'm not saying it's necessarily bad.
Well, and I would just gather the commentary and send it back.
I understand, I think both sides are talking and not listening.
Well,
I mean,
we've made advisory.
Yeah, we did our we did what we were set up, we made a suggestion,
Yeah.
and we said jump, and they said, no, not now.
Can I grab? Yeah, and I think we've kind of talked this through. And again, there are some things that we can still continue to do. I mean, we all know that, we believe that this is the most important thing that, we have to manage. So we think we can relatively manage it. But now we also have to focus on some of the other things that we can do, even though it's a little early, with getting some quotes, with getting that budget ready, with having a search committee, with kind of looking for that. And then again, talking through the E-code, getting a quote for those kind of things as well.
I think right now we can kind of do some of the things, like what the recommendations are for the administrative code, like the specifics. So for example, do we want the manager to live in the township? That's one of the things you can put in the code, and, like there's little details in there we can.
Well, that's exactly what you're going to be doing with the employees, right?
Well, but.
That's a decision that will be made by the employees.
That's the recommendations I think we're looking for.
Well, okay. Have you seen this? I mean, is this approved by this thing here?
This is a draft.
Where is the supervisor's list of things that who's doing what now? Do we have that? I know there was a meeting, but is there anything written down saying that, supervisors do this, we will do that, and kind of in this form?
Are you trying to say, like, do they already have like a follow-through? Are they already following through is what you're trying to say? Like,
I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Are they already?
So, John, I hear you. So if you look on this, there is the Mill Creek Township duties.
Right.
And that's kind of that was the first thing where I saw that an internal draft of the administrative code.
Well, yeah, but is this from do the supervisors recognize this document as being correct?
This is a working document.
So it's not.
That's why
It's not true yet.
I want feedback on it.
Yeah, this is what I was presented when I was presented yesterday at our meeting.
You just wrote down what was going on.
No, this is what I was given at our meeting when I met with them yesterday.
And that's even been edited since the copy that was given to you.
Okay.
Well, we should have that in front of us if we're going to discuss it. I'll call it official.
This is the edited.
Yeah, that's all I got. The same thing that you have.
Okay, so this is from you, supervisors.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's what I was asking.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah. So that's kind of at least where we're at right now.
But, yeah, and I agree, we're powerless. We just got to do what, kind of what we're told with the way it's set up. But I still think we can generate advice and bring it forward and all that. That's right.
We just got to do it. We're just the teenagers. We got to do what the parents want us to do.
But this doesn't give us a lot to do.
We
honestly.
can kick and scream, but they're going to do what they want.
Kick and scream, but
Well, it sounds like it.
this doesn't give us a lot to do, honestly, until
Until September.
Make up their minds.
Well, Kylie, if what you're saying though too, if there's still a discussion, I mean, it sounds like it's kind of dead to me, but if there's an RFP discussion at the next supervisor meeting, we'll see if that happens. I mean, I don't even know why this couldn't happen in unison. When that could still be set out and we could still be working on these things together. Again, I just think our thought process, and I don't want to keep belaboring it, was to just have an expert come in at the very beginning so we get it done right at the beginning.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If they sent out the RFP, they could come back and say, oh, you're a little too early. Maybe come back when you have more details, couldn't they? I mean, we won't know unless we ask, right? So you're saying it's potentially on the supervisor's agenda next time, potentially?
Yes.
I think we left it kind of deliberately vague. We want to tell them what needs to be done. They're the experts. They will figure out what exactly needs done.
It was vague, but it was very specific to what we need, right? Just the administrative code. We have the exact place in the optional plan law of what it actually
doesn't give
needs.
the 3 or 4 definitions of things that need to be done, or they should know that. That's why we're
So
asking.
they could look at it.
Absolutely. And there's no commitment. Absolutely no commitment.
See what the supervisors do at the next meeting.
Well,
I mean, unfortunately. I'm not gonna sit and hold my breath, turn blue.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of that's kind of where we're at with what we've kind of been presented, and I guess kind of marching orders, at least right now.
Okay.
Now, again, as Kylie said, she'll take this back and, maybe we have more discussions on this, but.
the only thing I think in near future or future that we talk about a search committee or a search contract or whatever, I'd like to have a discussion on why it might not be necessary to do that down the road. I'm not talking tonight. I'm just saying, if we're planning for a budget, I'm not sure that we need a search consultant. I think this job is more visible than what we think. A lot of people are interested in it, Pennsylvania people, and I don't think we'll have trouble finding a very well-qualified manager, male or female.
I disagree. I think there's a shortage of qualified. I think there's a shortage of qualified quality managers out there now. I mean, there's a reason why GE, Wabtec brings them in every 3 to 5 years and promotes them through.
We're kind of a
'Cause-
special industry.
Right, but there's shortages everywhere, restaurants, hotels. I mean, I know you're the baby boom generation, but we are a shrinking population.
What does that have to do with it?
There's less and less people.
Yeah, listen, I think this, we can have that conversation. I think that is something that will be an interesting conversation.
Smallest generations.
Having said that, I think, again, moving this thing forward, I think we should be at the supervisor meeting, and I think we should kind of talk through, again, what we think. If there could be things that could be done in unison with this, that's really all that we can do at this point, other than to do that, and then to do is everything that we possibly can within the structure that we're given to keep going.
And I think to Dennis's point earlier, I think we all want it done right. And we just have a different way of doing it, a way that isn't proven in the past, in my opinion, for that. But we're both trying to get there. I got to.
Let me just, I will say this too, and again, kind of know you're the only supervisor here, so you're kind of taking the brunt of this, but I did a ton of research on this, as I think you guys have known, and, in even creating kind of the initial plan, and everything that I saw is, number one, have an outside group do this, right? Have an outside group as your solicitor, or as that consultant that kind of works directly with you. Not that there's a full conflict of interest, because we work for the supervisors, but that's kind of how those.
But that's not what the DCED told us.
That's true.
DCD said normally, they did say the outside group should do this with you, that it's not done internally. 100%. They said that an outside group, now we are a unicorn, most are going home rule.
Okay, yes, and home rule.
Home rule, 100%, but still, while they said that even though it is mostly done, they still would have an outside consultant come through. That 100% was done. We can go back to the minutes on that. That they would not recommend having this done internally. And if they did say that, that is the most insane thing I've heard. But they 100% said that this still should be done with an outside, or with the solicitor, but
Yes.
with legal, right? So again, that's an option. I'm not saying we do that. I would rather have that happen, right, than have township employees create the administrative code.
Well, I think the township employees would, if they have a question, they ask our solicitor.
Well, then we're getting to the point of cost, and we're getting to the point of why not send the RFP out to get it done in the first place, if we're going to ask questions of the solicitor the whole way through. Like, I was actually, and not to be a jerk here, Kylie, but yeah, you guys told me yesterday no solicitor would be involved in that, right? So if they had the group of township employees, and I asked that specifically, and I said, will the solicitor be involved? And there was no solicitor. So if they did have questions, and again, then why aren't we just doing this right in the first place? I guess that would be my kind of rebut to that.
I think it's not, because basically what we talked about was putting a framework together, like putting the framework together, the outline, those kinds of things, and that, like how detailed you want it to be. But our solicitor will definitely be involved in the process.
In the end, yes,
yeah.
absolutely, in the end.
100% in the end.
Right.
But again, that was the whole point of doing an RFP, to have that not be part of the process, other than if they wanted to submit to the RFP, so we know how much that cost was.
Well, I mean, so right now, if I don't know, if I have a question about something different, legal-wise, I'm going to email the solicitor and ask them.
Great, fine, I get it, that's township duties, but
Legal question, right?
Yeah.
But again, with the administrative code, right? Either there's three ways to do this, right? Either we were going to do it with sending something out, we knew the exact price, we knew the exact cost, trying to get that. The solicitor could have been involved in that, so we would know exactly how much that's going to cost. If they do it this way, we have no idea how much that would cost. We have no idea how many questions a township employee, because I would have a ton. If I had to sit down and write the administrative code for Mill Creek, I'd be talking to them all the time. And I said that the other day too, like so many things are so vague. There's questions to this thing, to do this thing right.
Would
and again,
you like to bring him in and ask him?
I know we'd like to send the RFP out. I mean, but if we were writing it and that was if you guys said, hey, Tom and TAC, the solicitor is going to create the administrative code, we might not agree with that. But okay, that's cool, that's fine. And then we could have that real discussion but this is kind of just now willy-nilly, right?
Well,
like,
then
we're going to ask questions here and
write
there.
that as your feedback.
Right. No,
I mean, to me, it seems like what you're trying to say is you just want to dissuade anyone from thinking it's, in like business terms, that inside trading is being done. You want an outside source to make sure it's all free and clear.
and he's part of the outside source, his
Right, his firm. I think people are blurring the line, or some people thinking that he's got like some inside agenda. And I'm not saying you, I'm just saying you want to make it clear that we're not. That's all, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead, Jim.
and also, if you're paying legals, if you're paying an attorney, what, $300 an hour or something, and we get it less than that in the same quality of work with an outside consultant for 120, 110, 150, whatever. I think the taxpayers would prefer to have the lesser cost. And I know you know about the budget or whatever, but like Tom said, if it's done internally, you got to take the person out of the work they're doing. That's costing money. And who has ever done an administrative code, to the degree that they're being asked to? It's going to take time and questions. Exactly right. And who's going to pay for that? Somebody has to pay for it because it's on company time.
What I feel like with an outside firm is that they would really have to catch up on everything that's gone on so far in our township.
I mean,
I don't feel that way, but okay.
so again, we had multiple local law firms that have been following this thing from the beginning. I'm sure some of them would love to get in to be the next solicitor if that happens and comes open with the new manager. I know that people were chomping at the bit for that. Also, there was the consultants that we did use, or that the study commission used, that understood Mill Creek as well. But having said that, this thing isn't rocket science, right? This thing is, again, it needs to be done correctly. If I've looked at all 5 of those, and you have too, I know, Kylie, right? Some of them have 118 different lines of what they did. Some have 16, right? Depending on the township size, depending on what they wanted to do. So again, this is what it is, right? I mean, and we can still talk, and we can still have these discussions, and we can still go to the supervisor meetings and talk. I would prefer to get this done at the beginning, right? Send that thing out and let's work on it and let's have this thing done by December 31st and have it done right at the beginning. I think that this does just kind of waste time.
Well, and no matter what, this final document only goes to the new
Yeah, they could still vote against it.
township. Yeah, I was gonna say, it stays as,
Okay, but,
We want to give them the best.
right, the
product.
best thing that we could possibly do.
That, but they could.
And I would say if we do it the other way, that's what might get thrown out. But again, I think that this is it's not ideal. It's not a total deal breaker for me. I think it is a workable platform, although I would like to see people come and us have discussions on where they are as this thing goes down the road. And if we don't get this thing in September though, because this thing has to get out to the expert as quickly as we can, and I think we need, Kylie, I mean, and I don't know where that would come, but we have to have discussions on that. I think the committee would love to hear that. Just that there is some process at the end of the road, that this will go out, and we will have this done by December 31st. Because right now it does seem relatively vague with that. And again, that's something that, again, I think still needs to be discussed between you guys.
Is this available? Will this be available?
no, it's still a draft working document.
I just wanted, at least this gives us an outline-ish. I mean, I know you don't like the outline, but
No, here,
it's
keep,
an I'm sorry. At least it's an outline, I mean, or at least a somewhat trying of a meeting of, I think we're just not having a meeting of the minds.
and let me just throw this out too, with the outline, I mean, we did have an outline, the township has an outline. The problem with the outline that we wanted to do was budgetary, right? So, again, we could have said we want to do this, this, and this, but when there was no budget, we kind of, I don't think it's a big deal, we shifted it, right? We shifted some of those things to next year. But again, I'm going to be just a maniac on that December 31st date to make sure that, again, everybody knows who you're voting for, everybody knows what people are going to get paid, how that process works. For me, that is the red line. Again, we can have a discussion here on the means, how we get there, but that end just needs to be there. I still feel comfortable, not super comfortable, but relatively comfortable that we can get there with this process, even though, again, I don't think it's the ideal one that we presented. Beat that to death, huh? Yeah. Okay. I know Matt is not here. He kind of is on my agenda, so I think we can kind of move to citizens to be heard if that's, if everybody's okay with that. So if anybody would like to speak.
Do we have it, Tom, do you want to have any goals or?
Oh my God, yeah, I'm sorry, skipped it. Sorry, hold on, citizens to be heard. Give me one quick second. So, again, the goals and assignment for the next meeting, you know, the only thing that I really keep kind of asking for, and I think Matt might have been presenting it today, is, and I don't mean to keep that, is I feel comfortable, well, not comfortable, but at least we're talking about the administrative code. We're beating that up. The search firm, I think that's a discussion, John, and we will make sure that we have that discussion. And then the third, and I know I keep saying it every meeting, but I don't feel comfortable in my mind that we have it fully, is the amending of the ordinances. I know some of you, like Kylie, I know you think we can just kind of maybe push that on. I just think that needs to be done. So if we can, and I know I asked that for Matt, so he might have had that to get a quote for general code for the E-code 360 to find out what that, because that's a separate process than just codifying the amendment, the ordinances.
That's an automatic thing, isn't it?
So yes, the codifying, so this was where I'm confused. The codifying is automatic,
Yeah.
but we're not codifying. We're changing the ordinances.
After it's all changed, then it gets codified, right?
Yes, so
As a part of normal, every year, I think, or every other.
it gets
year,
codified.
Right?
Every year they pay it.
Yeah, something like that.
But you're right, those will need to be changed. The power structure of all the ordinances
Yeah.
that are in there need to be changed.
Still have a lot more work to do.
So we have to kind of, you know, and again, I think there's quotes that need to be done for that.
I don't know that we honestly need quotes for that. That's just something that happens.
I hear you, but I'm not sure if there's something different that needs to be done, because again, there's more to be done than just the codification. So that's kind of what I want to get clarification on. But, you know, other than that, until we get something back, now I know I did at least ask, and Supervisor Bach kind of agreed to have one or two of, if this is kind of the way that they're going to go, have them come present to us from that working committee on the administrative code to kind of give us updates before that September timeframe, which basically would be our next meeting. So, that's kind of I guess one of the things I asked for if we're going to kind of go through this kind of process. So, but other than that, I mean, is there anything else that you guys can see, until I think that next meeting that will be extremely pressing to keep moving forward on that?
There's only one thing pressing, but.
Right. Okay, so I think now we can move then to just citizens to be heard.
Okay.
You don't want to say slate?
Again.
Hi, and thank you again for everything that you're doing. Sue Weber, 5338 Norris Drive. I'd like to preface this by saying, notice that you cannot go to any other township and ask to see their recent work product of administrative code. And that just shows why this is the right thing to do, because all the other large townships did this years ago, switched to council manager, and that's why we can't get any current work that they're doing, because it happened so long ago. I did want to address something that happened at the township supervisors meeting, because it does affect the study commission. And I'm sure you all heard it, and John DePlacido and Tom were at the supervisors meeting, and at that meeting, Kim Clear brought up my name and said that I said the study would be free, and then it turned out to cost money. Well, you need to know that before the question was even voted on by the voters, at their preliminary budget session, Treasurer Melanie Page suggested that they put $100,000 in the budget for the study, and they did. And everything, John knows because he was on the study commission, and Bill Schaaf is sitting there, every single thing we did from the very beginning of the study commission, we included what it was going to cost the taxpayers. We estimated how much it would cost per taxpayer, and it was $100,000. Our Mill Creek Publications had that in. Any Blue Couch episodes they went in on, any radio stations they went on, any literature we handed out, always listed that this would cost money and what we estimated it would cost. And as a matter of fact, didn't you come in a little under budget? You did. So I want to let you know that when Ms. Clear said that, I said it wouldn't cost any money at the supervisor meeting, I was appalled. I was appalled. I'm not even going to call that a mistruth. It was an outright lie. I hope, and I think I hear this coming through from you, that yes, there is an urgency here. Because how can a person decide if they're going to run for a council seat? I mean, it's going to get to be January pretty soon, and people will need to file their petitions probably in February. If they don't know the rules that govern them as a council, because they haven't been produced yet by you, well, how will they know if they want to do that? To tell you the truth, this should be happening right now. People start way ahead of time to campaign for office. They would be out there in a large township like Mill Creek now going to picnics and parties and meeting people, but they can't even decide if they want to because we don't have a code with rules for council and rules for the manager. So yes, that really is important. And as far as recommending if the manager, lives in the township or not, I thought that your group was going to make recommendations about the employment of the manager, but it was the new council that sets the rules for the manager. That's what I thought. I might be wrong. But in closing, let me say is, I really think not putting out this RFP is wrong. And the truth of the matter is, the people that don't want it to go out, what they're afraid of is that there'll be people that come in at less than Mark Shaw per hour to do the work, and then they'll be forced with a decision to pick those people, and they don't want that. They want Mark Shaw to do the work. So don't expect them to let you put out an RFP because they want Mark Shaw to do the work, and they're deathly afraid that some qualified company, individual, law firm, whatever, will come in at less than Mark Shaw charges per hour, and that's just a fact.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Anybody else? No? Good?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.